Hello and welcome to the Sonic Stories podcast. This time we talk about scary stories about elevators, creepy people, murder, all that good stuff. Hope you enjoy. Hello everybody, welcome to the Sonic Stories podcast. I'm Sonic1203 and I'm going to tell you stories. I really don't know where I was going with that intro. I just kind of winged it. So, how are you guys? Glad you found this podcast. Now you can listen to it. Pretty nice, huh? Why do I keep making that noise? Okay. So, I don't have a guest today. It's just me. So, I don't know what to talk about. I'm just going to talk to myself, I guess. Or mainly to you, the audience. Okay. Now, I should probably start with a scary story. So I'm just going to look for a short, scary story. Okay. This one's called Elevator Doors. Okay. This is like a few paragraphs. I work on the 4th floor. I take the elevator up most of the time, though sometimes my conscience guilts me into taking the stairs. I don't like to take the stairs. I'm terrified of heights, and they have these clear panels underneath the railing that make it so you can see down to the bottom floor. It makes my stomach turn to look over the side, and by the time I get to the top, I'm weak, sweaty, and trembling. And it's not from exertion. When I came in that day and stepped on the elevator, I was surprised to feel what almost felt like a bounce underneath my foot. I removed my foot from the elevator, and after a few seconds, timidly tested my weight again. The doors chimed in aggravation. The bell reminded me that something was in the way and they couldn't close. There was a little wiggle from the elevator as I stepped on. I self-consciously reminded myself that elevators were built to carry up to 2,500 pounds. My weight wasn't going to cause it to crash. Pressing the button for the 4th floor, I was surprised to see the elevator rising before closing the door. When the door finally closed, I sighed in relief. When the bell dinged, signaling my stop, I hastily leapt out of the elevator, afraid that the elevator would collapse to the ground, cutting off my leg or arm that was still trapped inside. I took the back stairs that afternoon. When I got on the elevator this morning, it was the same little bounce after I tried to get on, followed by the ringing of a bell, signaling something was in the way and the doors couldn't close. I stepped inside the elevator and pushed the 4th floor button. The door began to close and jerked back open. The bell, an alarm that signified that something was blocking the way. I looked down, but I could see nothing. I smashed the door close button, but they slid back open, only halfway closed, alerting me that there was still something blocking the way. Air hissed like a sigh out of the lower vents in the elevator as I pressed the door close button one more time. The door almost shut, then sprung open again. I groaned in frustration and made my way out of the elevator to the stairs, heart pounding and palms sweating before even reaching it. I heard the elevator ding it behind me and begin to travel up. Figures. Halfway up the stairs, I heard a loud screeching noise and a crash. I didn't dare to look over the side, so I hastily climbed back down and went to the source of the noise. Horrified, I found out that the elevator had fallen in the shaft, the doors wide open to view its darkened cage. And I would have been inside, I thought, if something hadn't been blocking the door. That wasn't really a scary story. Hold on, I need a drink. That wasn't really a scary story. I was like, well, that's a little creepy. The thing is, what was blocking the door? Maybe it was fate. Maybe it was an angel. Maybe it was a demon. Maybe it was just a fake story and he was lazy at writing. Okay, let's look for a better one. Though, if that were to happen to me, I would get some lottery tickets because I would be lucky. I might be terrified at the moment and for like the rest of the week, but that means I have luck. And I would get some lottery tickets. I might win like $45 million, get myself nerd money and like spend it all on nerd stuff, like I don't know, maybe like build a replica of the Millennium Falcon, or maybe live on top of Stark Tower. And that doesn't exist, so I'd have to make Stark Tower first. Okay. Let's see. This one is called The Mannequin. It's a little longer than the last one, so I'm going to take a drink. Saying stuff to myself kind of makes my mouth dry. Okay. For the most part, working at the women's clothing boutique was great. I got hours when I needed them, off to visit my sick aunt, solid pay, dental benefits, and discounts on alterations. The only dark mark on the whole experience was Harold, the franchise owner. He was brash, uncouth. What does that mean? Hold on. Mind you, I am 11, so I do not know what this means. Lacking good manners. Okay. He was brash, uncouth, fond of leering at the more shapely customers, and making swine noises behind the backs of the plus-sized shoppers. Oh, that's mean. He was a misogynist and an afternoon alcoholic, always reminiscing about his glory days for anyone who would listen. Back when he was a sailor in the Royal Navy and had a different woman in every port, he'd roll up his sleeve and flex his bicep, making his little anchor tattoo dance for all the pretty female clerks. When there were no real women to ogle, what was that? Ogle. He turned his attention to the mannequins, squeeze their hard plastic bums, jam his tongue against their permanently shut lips. What's wrong with this guy? Berate them for not getting back into the kitchen and fix the kitchen? The kitchen and not fixing him a sandwich. Har har. He had a special affinity for the one he named Julie. Blonde, blue-eyed, elegantly posed with a hand at her hip. He said she looked like an old girlfriend, a tanner's daughter in Germany. Oh God. He's really into these, mannequins. He reserved his most disgusting abuse for her. He dressed her in lingerie, smacked her around, took her for special trips to his office at the back. Once, when Harold was especially drunk, I caught him holding Julie's throat and repeatedly punching her in the abdomen. Why, Julie, why? Why would you leave me for him? Oh gosh. He was in a similar state last Friday when I closed up shop for the holiday weekend, leaving him alone in the dark, wallowing in bad memories. I was sure I'd find him there Monday morning, face down in his own sick. But then on Sunday, for some reason, I decided to do some research into the real Julie. It took me a while, piecing together the clues I'd gleaned from Harold's drunken ramblings, but I found her. What? How lucky is she? She's either the best, detective in the world, or her, whatever. I'm imagining the person is a girl. Or her boss is saying the most obscure stuff. Oh, why'd you leave me and move to him at this exact address? He wouldn't remember those things, would he? So I'm going to say she's an ace detective. I assume she's a she. I assume it's okay for a guy, but I assume because she's working at a woman's clothing boutique. That's all I assume. Guys can work there too, but I imagine more people would work at a store that only women go to. That's just my experience. Okay, Julie Meyer, a blonde and blue-eyed tanner's daughter from Wolgast, found murdered in the shipyards in 1969. Her case still unsolved. Oh, dang. Oh, snap. Of course I called the police, but when they arrived at the store, which was shuttered and locked from the inside, Harold was nowhere to be found. They figured he must have heard the sirens and escaped through the underground electrical tunnel. What? They have underground electrical tunnels in their shop? What? Okay. While they were all sawing through the gate, a man matching his description was spotted boarding a plane at Heathrow, though it had already landed in Madrid before the police caught wind of it. Julie was still there, though, at the back of the store, sporting a sharp new leather sports jacket. one that none of us could trace to any section of the catalog. Curiously, it had no tags, but when I turned it inside out and tore out the lining, I found something tattooed on the leather. An anchor from the Old Navy. What? From the Royal Navy. From the Old Navy. Oh. Okay. I don't know what to think of that. That's kind of weird. For a second, I thought she had the tattoo. I was like, oh my god. He fused with the thing. But no, I guess he just wrote it, like, we could have had this tattoo together. These aren't really that creepy. Well, they're not scary. They're like, that's a little scary. I guess if you were reading these in, like, dead midnight, at, like, the witching hour, reading these, you'd be at least a tiny bit scared. But, it's like noon for me. I just had lunch. Okay. Let's see. I guess short scary stories aren't that scary because you know, like, you don't have time to get accustomed to the characters and stuff like that. Let's see. Let's do like a funny story now. It's like a funny news story. Weird, funny, and strange. Okay. The Nutella donut milkshake is sending food fans into sweet. Pets at home receive complaint letter from dog and respond perfectly on Facebook. What? What? No, what? Dogs can't type? What? Or is Pets at Home, is Pets at Home a store? Oh, wait. Pets at Home. Oh, it's a store. It's a store. It's a store I've never heard of. I thought, like, dogs, like, get, like, general to all dogs that live at home. Pets at Home. Like, someone sent them a Facebook message, and they're like, and the dogs responded, like, boop, 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 boop. Okay, I'm dumb. I'm sorry. Weird news stories. Okay. A cop killed a white teen. Wait. What? No, that's not funny. That's not funny at all. Okay, I can't find any funny stories. Okay, let's look at more scary short stories. How long have I been? Okay, 12 minutes. Considerably long. Okay, let's see. A date. This could have some blah blah blah. Ooh, and there's oh shoot, my phone. Okay, so this is a date, and it has like people saying speech, so I can make up funny little voices. Okay. After what seemed like an eternity, I reached the front of the line and saw Stephanie, the beauty behind the corner. She was absolutely stunning, even though she was dressed in that ugly work uniform. The way her brown hair fell down gently onto her shoulders, caressing her inner cheek. Her blue eyes as blue as the sky itself. Her genuine smile. Her curves. Her up. I didn't cut it off. I would have said breast, but it there says her breath. And then stops. Hey, Jason, are you going to stand there all day staring at me? Asked Stephanie playfully, showing off a mischievous smile. So sorry, I stammered, clumsily placing my supplies on the counter, my face burning red. Hey, no need to get so red, Stephanie said, purposely running her hand over my hand as she went to scan my roll of duct tape. I let out a weak laugh. She responded with a much stronger laugh. That's it. Keep playing the cute guy part. We made small chit-chat as she was scanning and bagging my other supplies, as there was no one else in line, until I decided I was going to make a move. Hey Stephanie, if you're free after work, would you want to see movie? To see a movie? She looked at me and smiled, brushing a loose strand of her back. I can't. Brushing a loose strand of her hair back behind her ear. Aw, it's kind of cute. I thought you'd never ask me out. Sure, I'd love to. What movie do you have in mind? She took the bait. What? Like, oh yeah, I'd love to do it. She took the bait. Initialize Alpha, Niner Alpha. And then just a nuclear bomb falls on North Korea. No, I'm sorry. I don't mean, that's just like, I should be quiet. Okay. She took the bait. I was actually thinking of a movie at my place. She smiled again. Sure, sounds like fun. Is that alright? Yeah, that's perfect. We both stood there awkwardly looking at each other. Well, I'll see you at 9, I said as I frantically pick up my supplies and briskly walked out the store. Check and mate. When I arrived at home, I immediately dumped my supplies of duct tape and rope in my soundproof room that I just made for Stephanie. I licked my lips, my breathing increasing, till I was practically panting. I let out a laugh. What? Okay. He has a soundproof room. He has duct tape and a rope. That sounds kind of weird. I let out a laugh. All mine. All I have to do is wait and wait. Oh, shoot, this guy's crazy. And there's the doorbell. And there's Steph. Shoot! What? There's Steph. So, like, he actually said the F word, but I'm not saying that. Because there's, like, people outside my room. So, can't say it. I looked down. A knife handle protruded out of my stomach. I looked up to see. Whoa, did Stephanie just stab this guy? What? I looked back up to see Stephanie's smiling face. I crumpled to the ground, letting out a scream as I held where I'd been stabbed. Stephanie loomed over me. She still had that bleeping smile. You really think girls are that stupid? The way you stared at me. Those hints... Oh, okay. Those hints about bondage that you dropped to see if I'm into that. Do you really think we don't pick up on that? The supplies. Well, it doesn't matter now. I had you the moment I smiled at you. Oh, shoot. So he was gonna, like, rape her. And then she's gonna murder him now. I had you the moment I smiled at you. Had me? What does she mean? Everything's going dark. Stephanie lowered her head till her lips almost touched my ear. You and me aren't so different, though. You get off to kidnapping girls and bonding them. She pulled out a knife and stabbed me again. And I get off to this. Oh my god, Well, when you said she took the bait, I assumed something. I assumed that I was like, well, let's just forget that ever happened. That never happened on the Sonic Stories podcast. That never happened here. Don't tell anybody that happened, okay? Okay, we're good. Okay. True love, bathroom light. The bathroom light sounds scary because I'm thinking about what happened in the old one. I can't. This is just freaking me out, man. It's freaking me out. Okay. The other side of the glass. This is literally one paragraph long. I stared at her in the exhibit, and she seemed to stare right back at me. As I looked closer into her eyes, they seemed to be filled with sorrow, fear. As she lay in the grass, I wondered what it must be like, stuck in an enclosed exhibit, indoors at night, with people staring at you all day through a thick glass window. Is he looking at, like, a mannequin of the museum? Or is he looking at, like, animal at the zoo? Oh, gosh. With people staring at you all day through a thick glass window. Sometimes she would come up to the glass, scratching and pawing as if to be let out. I wish I could go in there and keep her company. If only her kind weren't so dangerous to ours. I got lost just looking at her, thinking about her feelings, about her life after they brought her here. My mother called us over. putting us back together. I sighed. Why do they have to lock humans up in places like this? What? What? Oh my god. What? 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 Why do they have to lock humans up in places? Oh my god. What? Okay. Well, I was expecting... Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, let's read another one. I like these. These are good. Okay. Let's see. Let's do arachnophobia. Spiders. Okay, we'll not need a drink. I spotted it first in the kitchen, but scurried to the bedroom. It saw me with its monstrous eyes. I gather my courage and sneak after it. It's dark, difficult to see, and I wonder if it's staring at me. My eyes train on motion. It's gone under the bed. I press forward, climbing below with it, slowly, gently, carefully. It can't see me. I'm certain now. It doesn't see me until my dripping fangs pierce its soft, tender flesh. And the last thing it sees are my 8 hateful eyes. What? That took a turn. Okay. I think I might have said it's gone under my bed. My bed? It said under the bed. But I read it as my... Or at least I read it in my mind as my. I might have said the, but... Well... Okay. So I thought it was a woman I spotted first in the kitchen. But I scurried to the bedroom. It saw me with those monstrous eyes. I thought it was a woman scared of, spiders, but it was a spider. Okay, hold on. But it was a spider eating. I'm gonna stay away from the, sexual sounding ones, cause this is the Sonic Stories podcast, so we don't talk about that stuff. Okay. Okay, this one sounds a little, sci-fi. It's called Faster Night Travel is Not Possible. Okay. We announced today that after many tests and trials, we have found without a doubt that faster than light travel is impossible. It won't be an easy thing for people to accept, not after dozens of years and billions of dollars developing the technology. It wasn't a unanimous decision. I only wish we had reached it sooner. When the first ship disappeared, we pressed forward. Everyone knew there would be setbacks and sacrifices on this journey. The second ship reappeared after 5 seconds, and only about a mile from where it launched. When the pilot came out, silent and unresponsive, some of the board members expressed concern. When he hung himself the next day from a noose made out of his bedsheets, there was a call to cease manned flights entirely, but the majority prevailed and a third flight was scheduled. The third and final ship reappeared in almost exactly the place it left, undamaged but with no pilot. According to the engineers, the hatch had remained shut for the entire flight, and there was not a single breach in the hull. However, unlike the previous ship, the internal cameras had remained functional. In the following board meeting, we reviewed the footage. It was a short meeting. The footage had been deleted. Destroying all of our research and prototypes will take time. But if all goes to plan in a few years, all traces of our work on the FTL travel will be gone. No, people aren't going to take this announcement well. Some people will undoubtedly think we're lying, covering something up. Those people will be right. But they'll think our reasons are selfish, keeping this technology for ourselves or suppressing it to keep the population contained. No one will guess that we're trying to save mankind, to protect it. The human race should be content with Earth, with our solar system. They have to be. We weren't meant to go any further. See, this is the kind of government conspiracy things I like. I like stories like this. They explain a bit of it, but they don't explain enough of it to catch you thinking what happened in that footage. Well, okay, let's go to another story then. Let's see. Ooh, I know. Instead of a story, let's read some things about SCP. If you guys don't know what SCP is, Well, you guys are gonna know. The SCP Foundation. They have a website. And if you guys should know this. If you guys know the game SCP Containment Breach, well, SCP Containment Breach is a like Slender-like game. Well, I don't know. I've only seen it with like a certain SCP, but basically the SCP Foundation Secure, Contain, Protect is blah 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 is like a thing documenting like secret alien stuff. What's that one in the things? So let's see, what's that one? SCP. I think it's SCP-173. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. So if you Google SCP-173, it shows like this thing, and I've seen footage of this thing on the game, and it's basically like Slenderman or like the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. You like stare at it, and if you blink, it like gets closer to you until it like snaps your neck or something weird like that. So let's read some more SCPs. SCP-173 is the Weeping Angel's neck snappy thing. Let's look at other ones. If you look up SCP Foundation, on the first thing, it will show a wiki, and on the first thing, and on the first thing you click on, it'll show a wiki, and there's a database, and if you go in that database, you can look at all the SCPs. So I'm going to take a random number generator, and we'll read about an SCP number generator. Let's see. 16. Wait, no, let's do 1 through 200. 1 through 200. 134, SCP-134. SCP-134. This one's called Star-Eyed Child. Okay, so I open it, and there's this picture of a girl with eyes that are completely darkened out. No joke. Past the eyelid, complete black. Okay, let's read. This is like a report, so okay. Item number SCP-134. Object class safe. Special containment procedures. SCP-134 is currently contained within a specially outfitted humanoid containment cell, measuring 6 meters by 8 meters. Since SCP-134 is completely blind, special safety precautions must be taken with the room's furnishings. SCP-134 is reasonably accustomed to the position of all objects in the cell, and navigates with mostly from memory. SCP-134's room contains... Hold on. One single bed with additional mattress padding, one pink bed set including sheets, comforter, and pillow with Hello Kitty mascot print. Note, though blind, SCP-134 is able to feel the printed pattern and prefers it. One wardrobe and one chest of drawers containing clothes in youth extra small. All drawers are to be labeled in Braille and raised print English. One dollhouse with dolls and interior furnishings. 8 stuffed animals, 3 cats, 2 dogs, a giraffe, a dolphin, and a panda. Those are the stuffed animals. She doesn't have those with her. Just to make you, just so you know, okay? A selection of children's literature in Braille. 1 chair and 1 table. A craft station with modding clay and building blocks. SCP-134 may request additional items, all of which must be approved by a staff member with level 3 clearance or higher. If any items are added to the room, SCP-134's handlers must be informed ahead of time to prepare her for the addition of something new to the environment. SCP-134 is to be tutored on a regular basis, both in general education appropriate for the subject's age and in Braille. Okay, let's look at the actual description. It's pretty long, so bear with me. SCP-134 seems to be an Asian girl between the ages of... Okay, some of this is classified, so it's not going. So it's like covered in black. I'm not sure how they did it, but okay. Seems to be an Asian girl between the ages of bleep and bleep. Whoa, she looks about like 7 or... She is like 7 through 9 in the picture. I'm not sure how old that is, but whatever. Okay. But the subject seems normal in most respects and has all but the biological requirements of a human child: food, sleep, etc. However, were SCP-134's... Can I just call it the Star-Eyed Child? Because that is much more easy to say. The Star-Eyed Child's that's not harder. 134's eye should be. However, where 134's eye should be are 2 black pits covered by a transparent membrane, similar in appearance to the human eye's membrane. Testing has shown that the membranes are 150 through 200 times more resilient than for a normal human. 134's lack of eyelids and thus does not blink. Oh shoot. Nor can SCP-134 see anything through these black areas. Attempts to examine the back of 134's eyeball have failed, as no retina can be seen. In normal lighting conditions, they appear completely black, but in darkness, very faint lights have been seen within them. Further study with long exposure photography and light amplification revealed that the lights are actually stars and galaxies, visible as 134's eye sockets are somehow looking out into deep space. To date, no astronomical formations have been no stars or stuff have been recognized through the research by astronomer Dr. Bleep. It's bleeped out. Is ongoing. Okay. Sonar examinations revealed no unusual cavities within the skull. However, data expunged. I don't know what expunged means. Let's look that up too. What's the word of the day? Expunged. Expungement, also called expunction, is the court-ordered process in which the legal record of an arrest or a criminal conviction is sealed. So it's basically sealed. Okay. However, confirming the presence of sealed eye sockets are being local termini in intergalactic space, blah, blah, blah. So basically, there's this girl, and she has, things, and her eyes are completely black, and there's, galaxies inside them. That's kind of weird. Check out SCP, look up the SCP Foundation for more of these. And it's up to you whether to believe them or not. Personally, I'm in a little gray area from belief and non-belief. Just like Santa Claus. Well, I try to believe in them, but it's kind of weird. But whatever. How long has this been going on for? 33 minutes. That's enough time to end the podcast, guys. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed. And check out Song 203. Subscribe to...